Hey, it's Gavin with East Coast Cerakote. Today I'm going to be doing a quick disassemble and reassembly of the Franchi Intensity trigger. So this little pin hooks on here. I'm going to pop that out with a screwdriver. Make sure that you can release your hammer. This right here will shoot out if you aren't careful, so just keep some pressure on that while you're pushing this pin out. Pin comes out. Now it's trying to fly apart, so make sure that you keep your finger over top of that. The hammer will slip back, and then you can release this with the spring. So this right here just fell out, but it's gonna go in just like that. This lifter should come off in one piece. You can keep this together. This little pin will fall out, so just lay it down on this side, and it will stay together like that. Now, there's a thin spring here that goes over top of this. You want to pop that off. You should just be able to pull it out, actually. Release that. And this is being held in there by this pin. So if you push this pin just a little bit, then you'll be able to pop this spring out. Spring comes out. It's gonna sit in there like this. Okay, so the hammer is just free floating, so that'll pull out. There's a little spacer here that locks that spring in that goes this direction. We'll set that here. Now we'll take the trigger out. This pin right here holds the trigger in. There's going to be a spring right in this section of the trigger, so make sure that that comes with it whenever you pull that out. You can also push this one out. This spring here, it's not actually in the way, but it'll just make it easier to pull that trigger out. There's that spring. And I'm just going to keep this assembled. There is a pin here. Make it a smaller punch. This pin is going to be retaining a spring and a detent that's holding your safety in. Here's this pin. Now put your thumb over this so the spring doesn't fly out. There's the spring. There's your safety spring. And there's a safety detent in here. You can pull the safety out this direction, just like that. And then I'm going to use this dental pick to push this detent. It kind of gets stuck in here. Let me find something else to stick in there. See, it's right there. Okay, you just need something to push it and then it will pop out the top, but I'm just going to keep it in there right now. That's the last thing that's in here. So then to put it back together, you want that detent to be moved up, pop the safety in, then you're going to drop the spring in, you will push the spring down, put that retaining pin back in there. Switch it. Okay, I made that harder than it needed to be, but you will just need to push that spring down and then punch that pin back through. Then you can drop your trigger back in. It's going to go this direction. Line up this pin here. And then you can pop that spring back through, or the pin, not the spring. Now the trigger's in place. You can pop this pin back in. These all should just push together. Now this one you're going to have to push back through this way just a little bit so we can get that spring, this here spring, to sit in here. You're just going to get that set in place like that, and then push the spring, or push the pin, sorry, I keep calling it a spring. Push that pin back through to lock that spring in place. Now that spring is locked in place. Now we can set this in place. So this right here, the spring is going to go in between these, behind this, over this, behind this. Set it in place here, and then you can might need a flat screwdriver or some kind of little pick to get this lifted up into where it needs to be, like that. Now that's in place. We can drop this spring and back down in here. Just pull this over a little bit. Come on. Move this out of the way. Drop that back down in. Your hammer, it's going to sit in there this direction. You can just pop that in there temporarily right now. You've got your lifter still in place like this. It's going to slide in right here. So it goes over the top, drops down in like that. It's the best way to get that to fit in there. Then you're going to take this pin, the rounded head on this side, I'm just going to get the pin, everything seated on this side. Then I'm going to drop this spacer, or this washer, down in that slot. This longer side is going to go in this channel right here. So let's drop it back in the back side first. Hook it in that washer, and then you can just kind of maneuver it into that groove right there. And now you can push this plunger down, align your hammer, and try to get this pin to push through. Okay, it's pushed through, but you can see it's not the whole way flush, or it needs to be farther than that so we can get this locking spring back in. So you need to push this plunger down. Need a pin for this, a spring or a screwdriver. Push this down, and then you saw this fell in further, and then you can push that pin in the whole way. And now I just need to put this little spring or that clip back on there to lock this, but right now we are in fire, so the hammer should work. Hammer's working. Safety's on, trigger won't work. Safety off. Everything is working as it should. I just got to get that clip put back on, and that's going to be the complete disassembly and reassembly of the Franchi Intensity trigger.